Welcoming you to a life of awareness, the Presence Project is excited for you to join us for today's podcast with your host, Paul Kerzner.
Hello and welcome to episode 40 of Are You Being Present? My name is Paul Kerzner. I want to welcome you to the present moment. I want to welcome you to the here and now, and I want to thank you wholeheartedly, sincerely, and deeply for joining me in this amazing and unprecedented present moment. The title and topic for this podcast is Presence is a Process. And I wanted to spend a little time talking about this because, presence is certainly a worthy endeavor, but it is not something that you're able to necessarily achieve right away. It takes some time. One of the things I like to say to my patients and also to remind myself is that, presence is earned. It is not something that can be purchased. It's not something that I can give you or anyone could give you. It's something that you have to do over and over again, constantly pulling yourself back to the present moment. So what do we mean by this process? What is it? Why is presence a process? Well, in some of my earlier podcasts, I walked you through creating a mindfulness practice. I've given you all these different tools, methodologies, ways of seeing the world, and all of those things are part of a process and a procedure, really. And the truth is that you can't go deeper into mindfulness if you're not present, and you have to figure out a way so that you have the necessary methodology to accomplish presence on a moment-to-moment basis. Now, every moment is going to be different, and that's the truth. So there are going to be some moments that are going to feel great, and there are going to be some moments that are going to be really challenging to you. Through it all has to be the remembrance that everything is constantly changing. But getting back to this process, I really don't want to get off topic here, and there are a lot of things that I can really dig into that I could go further. But I want to stay on point and talk about this process. When you wake up in the morning, what are you doing when you first open your eyes? That is an important question. Now, if your answer is, well, I'm just getting up, starting my day, that's a part of your process, but that has very little to do with presence. It's really advisable that when you first start your day, that you have some kind of exercise to do. And usually the best time to do it is like before you get out of bed. Whether it's listening to like a motivational podcast, or you read something real quick. You don't have to do it really quick, but whether you read something that's inspirational, whether you jot something down in your journal, whether, you say some affirmations or prayers or whatever it is that gets you into that space of presence, that would be the first opening salvo to your process of presence. Then, once you get your day started, like what are you doing at that point to continue to build your baseline so that you're able to stay present and focused in the here and now? And that is also something that takes attention for sure, because, as you're starting your day, it can get a little hectic. Whether you're running late, whether you have children, whether you have a dog or a cat to take care of, whether you have to pack your lunch, whatever it is. So during all of those activities, there is room for presence. There's room for you to observe like what you're doing in that moment and to be there. Like what you need to do is try and resist the urge, the temptation to start thinking about the rest of your day, because it becomes really easy to get distracted, while you're taking care of all those tasks, to then shoot yourself into the day and become disillusioned because that's a future space. And it's okay to plan for the future, but we have to be really cognizant of when we're planning for the future versus when we're worrying for the future. So that's something that I just wanted to inject to remind you that it's okay to like think a little bit about what's going to happen, but really be detached from it. Don't get too wrapped up into it. So once we get past the part of your day where it's still in the morning, but you're getting things moving and you're trying to get out of the house, all of those points there, and there's probably a ton of them, are opportunities for you to use your presence tools. I always advise some kind of morning meditation. That's what I do. Lately, I've been listening to binaural beats in the morning, or I'll listen to a guided meditation, or I'll do a seated meditation, but I try to set aside anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes to continue staying in that space of presence. That's part of my process. And from that point, once I get out of the house, then I'm in the car, and you might be commuting, so you might be on the train, whatever you're doing. And maybe your commute is to go from your kitchen back, to a different part of your house where your office is, which is like super convenient, but still there's opportunities for you to keep pulling yourself back, to remembering that really you have to put effort, concerted effort into staying in the moment. That's a really important exercise. So then you start your day, and you have all of your emails coming in, and you're checking your text messages, and you have all your tasks. And again, you have to remember your methodology, your tools, and you have to use them in a way that's effective. Because it becomes really easy to lose yourself from that moment and start shooting into the future or back to the past. So let's remind you again. Where's your process at? You're finally sitting down in front of, all of the different things that need to be taken care of. You're looking at your calendar, you're making phone calls. But what are you doing in between those phone calls? Are you like surfing the internet? Are you listening to music? Like what's keeping you grounded in those moments? And that's, a really good question, because what grounds you? What really gives you that wherewithal of your surroundings? What gives you that vantage point of where you're at and how you're feeling? Because, at any given moment, you're going to have different feelings based on what's going on, based on the thoughts that you're having. So as you go through the bulk of your day, again, what tools are you using, and how effective are they for you? What is your process? So my process during the day is that, again, between patients, I'll listen to another guided meditation or some more binaural beats. Or, I also like to read a couple affirmations. I like to check in with myself. I like to maybe have a couple moments of quiet time to kind of see where I'm at. But I like to take a step back so that I don't get wrapped up. I don't let the day get away from me. I like to take more of a proactive role in what's happening in my life in those present moments. I also have to remind myself that, whatever's happening in that moment is constantly shifting into a new present moment, and that moment's constantly shifting into a new present moment. So it's like this cycle of new present moments which present me with new opportunities. Very powerful, great reminder. And so, I definitely urge you to take that vantage point. Think about that for a moment. So, my day goes on, and I start to get towards the end of my day, but I have to make sure that I'm not trying to rush through the rest of my tasks, or I'm trying to get somewhere where I'm not, and I keep on pulling myself back, because some of my days are longer than others. And, there's certain times where I'm exhausted, and it happens, when we're tired or we're hungry, that we lose focus. And, sometimes our emotions get the best of us. Sometimes our exhaustion gets the best of us. Whatever it is, we lose that moment. We lose ourselves, and we slip out, and we start thinking about where else we want to be, who else we want to be with, who we should be talking to. And that's a reflection point for you. So A really powerful moment is when you're hungry or you're tired, to check in and say, well, where am I at? How do I feel? What's going on? Am I being present? Am I being present? Am I being present? God, that question is so important. It is like the most important question that you can ask yourselves. And, really, if you want to strengthen your presence process, you're going to ask yourself that question all throughout the day. You're going to write it down. You're going to look at it. You're going to reconsider it, because that question allows you to, it's like a gut check. It allows you to see where you're at any given moment. It allows you to be the observer of whatever thoughts are streaming through your head. So, that question should be at the forefront of your presence process. So your day is just about over, your work day is just about over, and, you're either going to get some dinner or you're going home, whatever it is that you've decided that's appropriate at that time. And, that gives you another good opportunity to not get trapped into, having to rehash your day. It gives you another opportunity to not rush home or rush through dinner so that you can watch TV or surf the internet or whatever it is that you do to kind of numb yourself out. Because at the end of the day is another amazing opportunity of presence. And what I've, lately been doing is that, like, when I get home, I'll eat dinner, but like I won't turn the TV on. Sometimes I will catch myself playing on my phone, and that's not good for presence at all. But I like to have quiet time. I'll hang out with Toby, my puppy. Maybe I'll do another short meditation. And again, it's just a matter of checking in with myself, seeing where I'm at. But as you can see, like as I just walked you through your beginning, middle, and end of your day, like the presence tools have to be used effectively, efficiently, and appropriately. An analogy, a saying that I like to share is that, great carpenters, don't just have amazing tools. They know how to use them, and they know when to use them. So, again, that's the same thing with all of these suggestions that I've given you, all of the tools and tips that I provided to you. It's like they're only so good as how you use them. And every day is a new day. Every moment is a new moment, a new opportunity for you to really enjoy and make the most of whatever's happening right in front of your face, because that's what you need to deal with. Now, if you start, getting tripped up, if you start finding yourself ruminating about the past or really concerned about the future, well, you have a whole toolbox there. I've given you plenty of different things to do, exercises. There's plenty of resources to look through. I mean, tons of videos on the internet, all kinds of things to listen to. Again, like I'm really into binaural beats lately, and like I really find that they calm my brain down when I start to get a little anxious, a little worked up. And you can go on YouTube. There's millions of them. Find ones that make you feel good. Find ones that are appropriate, that are applicable to whatever it is that you're going through. They have binaural beats for anxiety, for stress, for insomnia, all kinds of things. So that would be a really good suggestion and a tool that you could use, wherever you are. You just need a pair of headphones to plug right into your smartphone, and boom, you're using an amazing tool to calm yourself down, to pull yourself into presence. And then you have the point of your day right before bed. And this is actually a really important moment, because it's a moment that can really detract from your presence. Insomnia is a very real issue for a lot of people, and I've treated it quite often in my clinic. And one of the biggest issues that people have is that as soon as they lay down, that's when their mind goes crazy. They start thinking about all these different things, and it's never about that present moment. So you have all these tools that you can use to help you go to sleep. You don't have to rely on prescription medications, which, really don't treat the root cause of the issue. You have to find a way to put yourself to bed that's going to be calming, that you're not trying to force it. And what I do is I really like to create a very quiet space for myself of peace. And I might listen to some relaxing music. I might have my my essential oil diffuser. I like lavender essential oil, which is really nice. I might take some valerian root. I might listen to another binaural beat for insomnia. I mean, they're super effective. But I really try to do it in a very holistic and healthy way that just calms myself down, that pulls me into presence. And if I'm not tired, I'm not going to lay in bed for hours waiting to go to sleep. And I don't suggest to you or to any of my patients to do that, because you just end up getting more and more worked up. Then you start wondering, when am I going to go to bed? Am I ever going to get to sleep? What's wrong with me? Don't do that to yourself. Okay, like pull yourself back into the present moment. Understand that you're not tired. Get out of bed. Go journal, read something. Watch something very relaxing. Whatever it is that you need to do, but don't force it at all. So I just gave you some really good ideas and suggestions. Some of it is a recap, some of it's some new information, but there's a process and a procedure there. And every day, like, you have to be in it. There's no day that you could just like stop and then all of a sudden you're just going to be present. There's no point that you're just like, oh yeah, I did it. I got there. I'm done. I'm present. No, presence is a process. It takes effort. It is a worthy endeavor for everyone. No one is exempt or absolved from this journey, and that's really what it is. So, I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to this podcast and all of my podcasts. My goal for you and everyone, including myself, is to understand that the present moment is all we have, and we need to make the most of it regardless of whatever the conditions are that we're currently existing in. And those conditions are going to change, period. Everything is constantly changing anyway. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, concerns, you can always reach me on my website, areyoubeinpresent.com. You could check out my Facebook group, Are You Being Present? Check me out on Instagram. And, listen to the rest of my podcast. There's something there for everyone. So I want to thank everyone for listening. And I want to welcome you back to the present moment.
Thank you for listening to the Are You Being Present podcast, brought to you by the Presence Projects. Remember, you have a choice. Choose to be present.